The insight of wisdom is an capacity within us to realize the actual reality of things and beings that we experience in our mind through the signals given by our own sense organs. None of these sense organs called eye, ear or nose cannot or incapable of knowing the exact nature of the objects. Their concept of their experiences are defective, faulty. It is with this false information given by our sense organs, weak sense organs, that our mind create a conceptual world inside us. In fact, the only world that we experience is really, actually, within us. That is what Buddha has said in the Purissassa Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya, Volum 1. The sutta starts at page 118. At page 120, Buddha lays down that the entire world that we experience, Vyamatta Kalebere Panya Pipinokancha, the entire world that we experience is within us, within our own body, inclusive of our own mind within the body. As we know such an faulty world, a world which is not reflected in its actual nature. Because what we get as images in our mind are reflections, which are, as I mentioned earlier, not actually real. But through our ignorance of the reality of those mental images, we either like them or dislike them, or else through our incapacity we become ignorant of their reality. Buddha referred to liking as raga, disliking as dosa, and ignorance of reality as moha. Moha is a misguide given to our mind by our own mind, which is not sharp enough through intelligence or wisdom to go deep into the reality of what we experience in our mind. In the Nibbedhika Sutta, at page 202 of the Nibbedhika, Volume 4 of Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha has said, sankappa, rago, purissassa, kamo. Kamo means mental magnetism. We get attached to our mental images through this mental magnetism called raga. Sankappa means images, mental images, concepts. We are not really attached to or resent actually things and beings outside us, but our own ideas about them. That is why it says sankappa rago purissassa kamo. And this magnetism has a positive activity called raga, attachment. Negative activity called dosa, resentment. And due to attraction and resentment, the mind becomes unstable, vibrating. As this mental magnetism gets activated automatically, our likes and dislikes are automatic reactions of our own mind. In fact, the mental magnetism of our mind. The magnetic attraction and repulsions are automatic. It's not done by us. For example, we like certain images, mental images, and we dislike certain other mental images. When we like some image, we want to perpetuate that image, protect that image, and we think of perpetuating it, protecting it, safeguarding it. When you dislike some mental images, we think of getting rid of it. That is repulsion. One is attraction, the other is repulsion. They are magnetic activities of our own mind. And they are the elements that disturb our peace of mind, tranquility of our mind, the bliss of our mind. But as these responses, as I mentioned earlier, are automatic, we appear to be helpless. But if you open up our inner capacity called insight of wisdom, we can go deep into those mental images, penetrate them, understand really what they really are, that they are all reflections. Then what happens is, there is no liking, there is no disliking, and there is no ignorance of reality. Such a mind is called vitaragi, free from liking, vitadosi, free from disliking, vitamohi, free from ignorance. That is the nature of an enlightened mind. It is not necessary to become an arahant or a Buddha or enlightened one to realize this truth, to make the mind vitaragi, vitadosi, vitamohi. It can happen here and now, within this life. That means we can experience the nature of an enlightened mind free from attachment, resentment and ignorance within our own world, even without becoming an arahant or a Buddha, enlightened one, perfectly enlightened one. Because if you are intelligent enough, wise enough, we can realize the reality of the imaginary mental world through the insight of our own wisdom. And the practice of that insight is called Vipassana Bhavana in Pali and translated into English as insight meditation. Becoming aware of things and penetrating them into their root cause. Becoming aware is called in Pali Manasikara. Going deep into its root is called Yoniso Manasikara. Yoni is the place of birth, the vagina that gives birth to beings. Therefore, Yoniso Manasikara is understanding our own attachment, resentment and ignorance at the very incept, at the very beginning, at the very root. And that capacity is called Panya, and seeing through that wisdom is called insight of wisdom. In Pali it is called Panya Chakku. In Sanskrit it is called Prajna Chaksu. That is the insight of wisdom. Not an eye, but an ability to see the reality of the mental world within us. And our practice of using that insight is called insight meditation in English, Vipassana Bhavana or Panya Bhavana. Panya Bhavana means practicing of wisdom in Buddha's language, Pali. By that, we can experience an enlightened mind in this very life itself. Now, Sanditiko, Supreme Bliss, now, Ehipastiko here, Akaliko, unrelated to time. Because that bliss has no past, present or future, it is eternal. Eternal bliss that can be experienced by our own mind with the enlightenment. And that can happen here and now.